Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
You're listening to Radio Merced. I'm Jacque MacDonald, and welcome to The Victim's Voice. I'm also the mother of Debbie Ann Whitlock, murdered March 25, 1988. And today we have our new public information officer, tall and handsome.
You're too kind.
Yeah, Delray Shelton, and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And you're going to speak about general information for the public?
Yeah, we're going to touch a little bit on Neighborhood Watch and then general public safety, things that homeowners and families can implement as a daily routine in their lifestyles to be able to ensure to their safety in themselves and also for their properties.
And especially in this day and age.
Absolutely.
Sad, isn't it?
Although I will say is we just released an article with the Sun Star not too long ago in reference to crime statistics in general. And as opposed to previous years, here in the last couple years, we can say there has been a reduction in crime. And that is something that we are proud of. We attribute this to the men and women, especially obviously, I work for Sheriff Payson in the Sheriff's Office. And so we do attribute this to the men and women that are assigned to each of our Special Assignments Division and a lot to our Operations Patrol Division for their professionalism and all they do to ensure the safety and being able to solve crimes and investigate incidents within our county. And so they are a big contributor as to why there's crime reduction.
It's on the down.
Very much so. Very much so.
Because I remember when I came here with my first husband, we were military, and this was this lovely little town.
It was. In fact, not too long ago, I was conversing with our Sheriff's Department Volunteers Program, and they were all kind of expressing their concern as how things have changed out in, namely, the Winton area. And many of them were saying when they very first came to reside in Winton, California, that it was for military purposes. Most of their husbands served in the armed services. And at that time, it was a very small military community, and it was a great place to live. Yeah. And now maybe not so much, but the things have changed a lot over the course of time in certain areas. But we are still an active agency that is definitely working hard to still ensure people's safety and make it a great place for people to live within the county of Merced in general.
What I always try and emphasize is people don't have to be afraid to call the police department.
Not at all.
Even with information, no one's going to put you down or fluff you off.
Absolutely. Absolutely not. And that's a good topic to bring up. Here at the Sheriff's Office, we definitely pride ourselves in the way we handle our service calls. And when I say service calls, whenever you call into our dispatch center, whether it's on a traditional business line or via 911, and you want to report something, your concern is our concern. And whatever we can do to help remedy your problem, we will do. And so people do not have to be worried about what time of day or what time of night, or if what's transpired is 2 days old or a month old. If there's an issue and it's a concern to them, they can call in and we will handle whatever incident is accordingly. And so, in fact, we encourage people to call in. What we don't know at the Sheriff's Department, we can't help. So if things are going on in your community or the area you live in and we don't know about it, then there's nothing we can do. But as soon as we know about it, the issue will definitely be addressed.
Good. And where I live, I won't say where I live, but where I live, we have Neighborhood Watch, because I'm a block captain.
Sure. Yes. Neighborhood Watch is a hot commodity these days. I do also attribute the crime reduction to the citizens like yourselves, people in the community that do take pride in the areas they reside in, and they help erect or form these neighborhood watch groups. I encourage people in general. A neighborhood watch is a good thing. I like to say you pay cost to be boss in your neighborhood, so you should know what's going on, and you should definitely have say so in what's going on. And so those are programs that are out there. There's many programs that have been erected within the county area, and they are helping tremendously in the reduction of crime. And at the end of the day, it's bridging the gap. It's bringing the neighborhood together. I always reference the Little House on the Prairie show. So simple. The basics of life, but
no
they're all together. Yeah,
no washing machines. I'm sorry.
I always think that it's everyone that obviously was on that show and in that time they were just one. They were just one. It's about sameness,
helping your neighbor.
So absolutely, just out of a heart of genuineness, just being good people. And I think we need to get back to the basics of that. And Neighborhood Watch definitely helps create a new foundation in neighborhoods with an emphasis in ensuring safety.
And I have to say, I was really sorry when the base closed, because I thought it was good for Merced.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just conversing about that not too long ago, about the closing of the base and, how it kind of affected the area. But the neat thing about it is, there's a lot of buildings out there are now being used. So it's, it's not a waste of property anymore. And, they're trying to get things up and going out at the base to help better the community and bring jobs and things like that to the area. So I guess it's not that bad.
Yeah, and they do have hospital there, don't they? Have urgent cares out there at the base, which is good. That
is something that, from my understanding, is utilized a lot, the urgent care facility. And so that's definitely up and running out there. And that is definitely used, it seems like, on a regular basis. So, absolutely.
Now, you told me prior to coming on the air, you used to be a dog man.
Yes, I was a canine officer.
Canine. Well, I say dog man.
You meant like a dog catcher.
No. Well, actually, David Schroeder, the late David Schroeder, was married to my late daughter, and he was a canine officer. In fact, he trained them in German.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was a canine officer at one time during my career here. I had a dual trained dog. He was a Belgian Malinois. His name was Axe, and he was trained in fugitive apprehension and also narcotics detection. And he was a joy to have. And so he definitely made life and my career interesting.
Didn't you hate it when you were no longer a dog man?
I did. In fact,
I say that with all respect.
No,
I'm
absolutely.
Sorry.
Thus far, that has probably been my favorite job in law enforcement, is being a canine officer. Absolutely.
I know that David would take, one of his dogs was a very large dog. He would take it home, and my daughter was scared to death of it, Debbie. But it was gentle.
Yeah, they, it's almost like they have multiple personalities, because in one fashion, they're in their kind of their working fashion, and they're tracking people. In another fashion, they're in their working fashion, and they're detecting narcotics. And then you bring them home, and they're just like a part of the family. They're just kind of... They're 85-pound lap dogs, so they think, but they're cool, absolutely.
This is a while back. One of our neighbors had called Dennis and I because her door was open when she got home, and she didn't know she'd forgotten to close the door to the garage. And so the police came, but the only thing we were all doing was petting the canine dog.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it's awesome. They are a great asset to the community and law enforcement services in general. There's a lot of things that dogs can do and a lot of duties they can perform better than what the actual deputy or the actual human can perform. And so they're definitely a need in law enforcement services all around. the dogs have helped tremendously.
Yeah, and I noticed when the officer went into a house, he was yelling that they had the canine with him.
Absolutely. Yeah, announcements are always given. So, we can give people the opportunity to surrender.
If they're smart.
Yeah, that's right, if they're smart. But, we don't have people that are so smart. And, we do like to give people the opportunity to surrender and, make themselves known. And so our goal, and I think I speak for law enforcement entities all over, our goal is not to hurt people. Our goal is to rectify situations, effect arrest, or whatever we have to do just to calm the situation, to make it okay. And one way we do that is with the use of canines. But again, for any use of force, if we don't have to use it, we don't like to use it. It's much easier being able to just have a mere dialogue or conversation with somebody and be able to get them to comply to, what you want them to, than to have to use force. And so, absolutely.
I always said that my daughter and her husband, their dog had passed. He was elderly. But if she'd had a dog, I doubt if she would have been murdered.
That's actually a good thought. Dogs serve in various fashions. The biggest thing, we always say they're man's best friend. And that's so true. And I don't think people understand that relationship until you have an animal that you're so close with. But they also serve in the fashion of just home and property and people protection. There's just that persona that animals have, namely dogs, that people still fear. And, they become territorial. So if you have an intruder or somebody trying to jump your fence to gain access to your property, or they try to enter your house and they're unwanted guests, dogs very much so, it can be a tool that we use as a deterrent.
Funny story, because my late husband, he was an investigator, I think it was for welfare fraud, but he was going up to this house and he saw this big dog. And so he's looking at it, and out of nowhere, this little dog jumped out of the bushes and bit his leg and ripped his trousers. So, you don't have to be a great big dog. You can be a little one. You can bite just as hard.
That's absolutely.
You're laughing.
Yeah. That's great. Good stuff. Dogs are definitely good tools.
Is there anything else you'd like to speak about with safety? I know that most people have security alarms now.
Yeah. There are various things that people can do to help ensure safety of their property and of their family members. One of the big things nowadays are home alarms. It's always wise to invest in an alarm system, a comprehensive alarm system that is linked to a company. So when your alarm is disturbed or activated, it goes off, your local law enforcement will know immediately. That way they can respond to your residence and be sure everything's okay and there's no one breaking in. Or if there's someone on your property, they can deal with that situation accordingly.
Now, I often wonder, what are the rules and regulations? If you're home and somebody's trying to break into your house, are you allowed to attack them? Maybe that's
I wouldn't so much say attack. It's really hard. We never give permission.
Sorry,
No, it's okay. We never give people permission to attack others. I think I could be comfortable in saying is first things first is let's always try to have a preventative measure from people trying to enter your house. In the event that does happen, my suggestion would be is that you immediately try to get to a phone to dial 911 to report the incident. That way law enforcement can already be en route to you quickly. I would try to tell you to escape the residence, leave the residence if all possible, and flee to safety if you can. At the end of the day, if there's a need to protect yourself, absolutely.
So, in other words, as long as they're inside the house, you cannot be arrested if you attack them.
Well, that's a hard question to answer. I can say that each situation.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
okay. No, it's okay. I could say that each situation is unique and different. And so there's no blanketed answer to be able to provide you to say you're able to do this or not do this. Just every situation or every instance is unique, and that's how they're kind of handled accordingly or looked at.
Now, I will tell you one thing. Most people have heard of Mike Reynolds, 3 strikes and you're out.
Yes.
His daughter had also been murdered, and I know Mike, and he's the one that told me that, you know, how people leave the block of knives, and I've said this before, on their counter.
Sure.
Never do that, because it's an accessible weapon, and that's what Debbie's murderer used. He took the biggest knife to kill her.
Wow.
Because everybody did it.
Sure.
And so I tell people, please don't do that. Just put them in a drawer.
Sure. Absolutely. That's definitely a smart thing to do, is to place the knives in a drawer to where, you know, if someone did come in, they'd actually have to actively look for something. We never want to give people anything or aid them in hurting us. You know, a big thing, there is something about illumination. Many lights as possible, especially in the evening hours around your house. People can't lurk in the dark, or rather they can't lurk in the light as well as they can lurk in the dark. And so illumination's a good thing. Always, always, always lock your doors. That's definitely a habit that I have. I can be outside doing yard work or in the garage doing something, and if I'm out away from the house, I'm always sure that my door's locked, and if I'm inside, I'm sure that my door's locked and secured also.
Yeah. Even with my husband home, I still lock everything.
Absolutely. You know, a big thing is business as usual. You know, it seems like when people leave and they go on vacation, they'll turn their porch lights on, and they'll leave them on for like a week. Or they'll turn their patio lights on and leave them on for like a week. Well, if you don't do that when you're home, then it's probably not wise to do it when you're away, because people that are combing the area or watching the area, they become very familiar with routine. And so that is definitely something that you want to try to keep up with your normal routine. Also, when you're gone, it's very wise to have someone check on your property. If not stay in your house, but check on your property. A big thing that I think we all do is leave our garage remote controls in our cars. Well, that's almost inviting someone into your garage and into your house, especially residents that have the interior, exterior entry door in their garage that leads from their garage to their house. You know, people, all they have to do is smash your windows, push your garage opener, and a big portion of them into your house is already done, because now they're in your garage. And so I always tell people, take their garage openers out, secure your cars, never leave anything of value in plain view in your cars, so your car and you don't become a victim. A big one that people often forget is to like secure their fencing areas, their gates to their side yards and to the backyard of their properties. That's extremely important to do also. Also, another thing is when people go on vacations, they tend to pull their car to the garage and bring all their suitcases out, and pretty much they're letting the world know that they're leaving because they're packing their car in plain view with all their suitcases out.
That's a good idea.
And so that's something that people definitely have to be cognizant of. And kind of piggybacking on Neighborhood Watch, this is where a tight-knit court or cul-de-sac or community becomes involved, because they're able to watch your house when you're gone. You're able to have that continuous open line of communication, and you're calling, able to talk to your neighbors. Hey, you know, we're still gone. Is everything okay? And the people are able to watch your house. And so, and those are some general safety tips people can do to help shore up the security of their property.
I live in a neighborhood where we all watch out for each other, and you have to.
Absolutely. It's imperative. It's important. It's necessary. It's a must.
And we have yippy dogs anyway. So
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And,
You bet.
welcome.
Thank you
to
for
the
having me.
program.
It's
Now you're going to
appreciated.
be a regular.
Yes, absolutely.
And we're happy to have you.
Thank you so much.
And please take to heart what Officer Sheldon has told you, because it just might even save your life. Thank
Absolutely.
you. And may you never walk in our footsteps.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.